So, Mr. Shim, today we're going to be recording something very important. This is a lease contract. And this is a residential lease agreement. So this place is residential. Okay, it's a single family unit. This is in Manhattan, and the location is 499 West 158th Street, New York, 10032. Okay, it's very interesting because this lease doesn't have a unit number. It's a whole building.
Yeah.
This lease is for the whole building. This is very interesting. I just noticed that, right? So apparently, the person who are doing this, I don't know whether Attorney Ning did it or it is the tenant did it. It looks like the writing, the handwriting, is not Attorney Ning's handwriting. I know Attorney Ning's handwriting. So this definitely a lease prepared by the landlord. Okay. So the landlord, his name, I never met him, but on this lease it says Yan Li.
Yeah.
Now I just want to have a good important record because I'm the president of the Whole Elephant Institute. So far we have given Attorney Ning $2,200 cash. Where the money comes from, I went to TD Bank and I withdrew $1,000 on that day, okay? And you give me $1,200 from our Whole Elephant Institute cash account. You have been keeping very nicely with all the bookkeeping.
Yeah.
Okay? I just want to make sure that you as the treasurer of the Whole Elephant Institute totally know how I'm spending the money and telling me whether there is anything that's not conforming to morality or, from your heart you are worried, okay? Because that's the reason I want you to be at the seat of the treasurer. It's very critical to safeguard the interests of the general public and making sure the nonprofit organization leaders are not doing something illegal, which means to use nonprofit organization money, put it into their own pocket, and then secure their own living. Do you know what I mean? I don't want to fall into that trap. That's why I want to keep this recording clear. Okay. In the future, when people come to have audit of the Whole Elephant Institute account, I don't want people to say, "Oh, she used Whole Elephant Institute money to go to Manhattan and secured a single family unit for her own living." Do you know what I mean? That is very, very illegal, okay? That was the reason that day, even in the restaurant, I was telling you, that's not my place, I don't even have to tell you this and that. So I need to explain to you also. I have responsibilities to make sure you trust me. And you know who I am. I don't do things that compromise other people's interests, okay? But why this happened? I have a recording on this phone, 19 minutes. It was Tuesday, 3 o'clock. Today is Thursday, right?
Yeah, Thursday.
Yeah, so 2 days ago, then, which is the 26th?
27.
27th? 26th, I think.
Today
Today's 29?
29.
Okay, so it is 27, huh? Okay. On that day, basically, I called Attorney Ning, and I told Attorney Ning that, I probably right now need to do show cause because I was informed by the courthouse that a judgment of possession is already entered, right? And so I said that you have received all the documents. Why you didn't tell me? He said, I'm no longer your attorney. Last November, you already quit me, right? So I don't pay attention to those things. I said, yeah. So we talked about that in the previous phone conversation. And then he said, oh, look like you're going to be on the street. Attorney Ning said, oh, look like you will be on the street, I said, no, it's not gonna happen to me. I always have very wonderful community member who takes care of me at emergency, right? Which I was referring to about you. And he cut the phone off. And I thought, this is not finished yet. Why you cut the phone off? So I call back him to him again. And that's the beginning of this conversation. As soon as I call him back, he goes like this. As a matter of fact, there is a place you can go live, he said. I said, tell me. Then he said, this place. And he said, do you have, how much you can afford? Remember you and me were walking and I told you that you can help me to secure apartment. You told me you think about 1 bedroom is ideal, right? So I had your advice in my mind. So he said, how much you can afford? I didn't answer. He said, can you afford $1,200 a month? I said, yes. He said, do you already have the money in your account? I said, I do. I told him that we got a grant, government grant. And right now that grant has about $29,000 in the account. Now $29,000 in the account, that's enough to pay 2 years of rent of $1,200, no problem. That's the calculation, right? So my honest answer is yes, I do have the funding. But I told him this is a Hualifan Institute money. He knows that my work at that house is also purely Hualifan Institute funding too. Okay, so he knows that. But in his mind, he felt that I was about to go on the street. Without your support, yes, I would be out on the street. Do you know what I mean? And if I'm on the street, then if I'm on the street having emergency and fainted, and then the police will pick me and put me into mental hospital. Do you know what I mean? I'm telling you this is not imagination. I'm telling you this really happened to a Falun Dafa practitioner. One day I will introduce her to you. Okay? Her name is Changchun, Everlasting Spring, Changchun Song. And she was a PhD. She was from Berkeley. You know Berkeley is very famous, right? In California. So she was a PhD student from Berkeley, computer science, top-notch, brilliant lady. She's younger than me. Okay, she never had kids. She was married, but then she didn't get along with the husband, so the husband was not supporting her. And she came to Flushing, and she was always wandering on the street, and she could not find a place to live. Nobody was giving her any rental space because she's a Falun Dafa practitioner. At the time, Flushing had serious discrimination. So she also felt that she's very capable, so she always sleep on the chair in the park.
Oh my God.
A lady, she sleeps like like homeless on the chair in the park. She goes to the public library. I met her, and I said, I'm gonna try to find you a place to live. She never accepted my offer. She's very tough, She doesn't want anybody to help her. She thinks she can do it. But ended up one day she fainted. She passed out.
Oh, passed out?
Yeah, due to hunger or whatever stress. She passed out, and she got shipped into a hospital. And basically, after that, she disappeared. Because she has no friends, no family member. And when she was in the hospital, now I understand why she got disappeared. Basically, the hospital, once she's inside, if there's no outside people or whatever, or if she's very agitated, say, I need to leave, I have no problem, right? I know that's the kind of attitude she has. I know that the hospital will treat her immediately as a mental patient. So she was forcefully held in the hospital throughout, or maybe 2 years. And Angela told me that she died. I said, it's not possible she died. I called hospital to try to find her, like you. running around in the hospital. I did too, for her. I ran around trying to look for her. And I could not find her. And I, every day, send forth righteous thoughts. I have her in my mind. You know what I mean? Although I cannot find her, but I have her in my mind. I thought, no way. She cannot die. She's very precious. So I always use my mind to support her. And sure enough, one day, I saw her on the street.
In Flushing?
In Flushing. And she didn't dare to even talk to me. She turned into a different person.
Oh.
As if, like, her mind is totally like, no trust to anybody anymore. After she went through that, she had no trust towards me. When she walked towards me, I said, hi. I was so happy, right? Because she was on my mind and heart for all the 2 years. And then she turned her head over and she walked away. So I continued to send forth righteous thoughts for her every day. And one day she called me. I don't know how she got my number. Most likely Angela gave her. She said, can I come to see you? Immediately, I said, come, I'll make food for you, right? Yeah. So this is a lady that I'm going to pause here about her story. I just tell you, a persecuted Falun Dafa practitioners can be disappeared and can die without anybody knowing what happened to her if she doesn't have community-based support. It's that serious. Okay. Certainly for me, I went through numerous similar situations of life-threatening danger. But I always use my righteous thoughts to overcome it. I try to turn everybody who doing bad to me into my helpers, right? So that is because of my cultivation, diligence, and sincere. But if a practitioner that doesn't get very committed and read some book and exercise today and running around, a lot of times trouble will start and eventually will die or disappear, even in America. That's the truth. For me, that's why when Dr. Wang's brother came to offer me 2015 to buy me a house and relocate away from Flushing to New Jersey to station in a private house and belong to me, and he suggested that I bring Brian and Lotus Blossom to the house and live happily ever after in a house he bought. I said immediately, no. Okay? Because I know the danger. I know the danger of it. What's the danger? I relocate away from Flushing. All my supporters in Flushing says, oh, she went back to be with her family. Her family used to persecute her and stole away everything from her. We all know that. Now she goes back to them. Do you know what I mean? No, most likely she also wants to compromise with the Chinese government. You know what I mean? And then all my supporters would consider me to be a fake. And consider whatever I told them is not real. Oh, she's just one of those that we cannot trust. You know what I mean? And then the moment I live in that house, and Mr. Brown will say, oh, go back to your brother now. None of my business. Stay away from me. Do you know what I mean? And then Mr. Brown will tell Miss Lotus Blossom, don't go to your mom's place. It's dangerous. Because your mom now is associated with the persecutor, the CCP. And then if you live with your mom, they're going to get you also trapped into China. So let's not go see your mom at all. Cut all communications with her, right? And then what's going to happen is that if I live there, I'm in the new community. Nobody knows me. And I'm alone in the house. And I suddenly lose all my contact with Flushing people. And I also lose my daughter's trust. I lose Mr. Brian's trust. You know what I mean? And then Jianxing says, look, nobody wants you. Nobody in New York is interested in you. Come on, let's go spend a good time with our parents in China. Right? Then if I'm weak-minded, I was like, yeah, all those people don't love me anyway. Mr. Brian doesn't love me anyway. Miss Lotus Blossom is a bad daughter. She doesn't come to see me as a mother. Forget about them. I'm gonna go back to China. Do you know what I mean? Then I will go back to China. And then when I go back to China, the parent says, I already told you, Falun Gong is not good. Look at you, you did so much things for Falun Gong, ended up nobody wants you. Quit Falun Gong and say bad things about your teacher. Do you know what I mean? Then let's live happily after. I'm your mother anyway. Who will love you more than your own mother? Do you know what I mean? Okay, mom, I was wrong. Yeah, Falun Gong is no good. Everybody deceived me. Okay? I'm not going to practice Falun Gong anymore. I'm going to live happily after with you, you see? That's how, step by step, a person's mind can be gradually weakened, and transformed to the other side. Do you see how things unfold like that? This is what happened to Chang Chun. The lady fainted and then went to the mental hospital. When I call her, after she came out, when I talk to her, do you know what she tells me? Falun Gong is no good. She no longer exercise, she no longer read, and she says, CCP, persecution of Falun Gong is correct. Because Falun Gong practitioners are not good, and the CCP should persecute Falun Gong. You see? From one person who loves Falun Gong, practice Falun Gong beautifully, right? Dedicated to Falun Gong, to pass out, go to mental hospital, being injected with tranquilizers, and totally isolated away from the world, and her mind turning into no trust to anybody. I am the only person she trusted throughout the time, and I try to pull her right back. I'm still working on her, even today.
She live in Flushing?
Yeah.
How about her situation now?
Her situation was that after she was released from the hospital, the hospital made her sign into the food stamps and the social benefits. So she's still considered to be a mental patient under the government support, because when a person is under mental patient label, US government immediately give that person a lot of money for food and housing. So I think she's getting about the $2,000 amounts from the US government, so that she can have plenty of money to buy food and then find a rental place. So, but she already turned into another person already, as I told you. She got the money, but she's now in a different state of mind, and she enjoys it. She doesn't consider that it's wrong, to accept those money. So she basically bumped into a Chinese man
live together.
who actually has an apartment to rent. And the Chinese man saw her. She looks strange. Her mind was still messed up. So she always doesn't do anything, and her eyes still into the sky. And she dressed up not properly. So a lot of people does consider her to be mental. Okay. But that man had a sympathy for her. So that man says, why don't you come in and live in my home? And I give you very inexpensive rent, and you're very bright, because she's still very bright, And the man says, you're very bright, you can help me with English, because that man's English is not good, and he has lots of tenants, issues, and mails. So it's a good arrangement, theoretically. She went into that man's home, and then all the people living in that same house, it's a three level house, they start to attack her. Says that she's mentally ill, not normal. They got scared. If she doesn't move away, they all gonna move away. And then some tenants start to refuse to pay rents. So then the man says, she needs to go because I'm gonna be bankrupt because of her. So he want her to leave. She doesn't want to leave.
Oh.
And then he went to the court to evict her.
Mm.
And then she also hired a lawyer. And she's very bright. And eventually the two of them got into a fight. And she called me. That's why she called me. She knows I'm very good with legal matters.
Mm.
She said, save me, help me, save me, right? So I went over there. I said, I met the landlord. The landlord is very nice to me. You know, he respects me. So I said, don't treat her bad, okay? And try to give her space. And if she is abnormal, I'm gonna, you know, come over to help her to dress well, eat properly, sleep properly, and we need to support her to recover, right? And then the man was very touched. And I told Chang Chun, I said, don't fight anymore. Quit your lawyer. I told the landlord, I said, don't fight anymore. Quit your lawyer. Let me be the mediator and the two of you sit down and we try to resolve it. I said to Chang Chun, if you really need a place to live, let me find a place for you. Because your presence is interfering with this gentleman's business. It's bad merit, you know. I said, leave. Leave, and I'm gonna find you a new place. Chang Chun doesn't want to leave.
Oh.
So the man eventually quit the lawyer. The man quit the lawyer. Chang Chun didn't quit the lawyer. Not only didn't quit the lawyer, she reported to the city that the man was doing bad things to her. And the city started to want to make trouble with the building. So I could not help her because her mind is already bad. Before she was a very wonderful lady, but she turned into hateful. No trust. So every day I'm sending moral lessons to her. Whatever we do here, I send moral lessons to her. Yeah. So in any case, I just want you to know that in my heart, I know me. A lot of people still consider me as a woman. A lot of men approach me still with the mind, thinking they want to put me under their arm. Do you know what I mean? I cannot put myself into that situation. That's why that night, I want you to sign a lease with me. Instead of you saying, no problem, you know, it's for your benefit, it's for my benefit, it's for everybody's benefit. Everything has to be straight business. Do you know what I mean? You love me as a friend. I love you as a friend or colleague, or in whichever way that, you know, we have kindness manifestation into the human world, correct? But between man and woman, never mess around with money. I will not owe people a penny. I will only give extra. I will not take people's free stuff. That's my fundamental principle. That saved me big time. Throughout my past 18 years, so many times the government want to rescue me. Tony Avala personally signed a set of apartments given to me and Mr. Lotus Blossom when we were homeless. Oh, here, voucher. I have the right, because he was a leader, right? I have the right to give you a voucher of free housing, free food. Don't you worry, you and your daughter move right into this free housing and free food setting. I said, no, thank you. No, thank you. I don't take that because I'm very rich. You know what I mean? So I never fell into it. A lot of people say, oh, you need to get this. Oh, there are a lot of free stuff. I said, no, thank you. I don't take it. And this time when I was shipped into mental hospital, the first question will ask me is, do you have Medicaid? Right? They want the insurance Medicaid to pay for my bill. Now I know how much that is going to be. Probably several more thousand. The bill will come over, maybe altogether 5,000. Let's see. Okay. You see, people think, oh, the government is paying for it. I'm not paying for it. So who cares? You know? I always know that even if the government is paying for it, I'm paying for it. Because in this world, there's no free stuff. People are being tapped into that free stuff, and they you know, want it. When they want it, they lose it. You know what I mean? Yeah. So that's why Attorney Nunez leased this thing. I just want to make sure we have a good record of it. Make sure everybody knows on our team, I'm not accepting a man's protection. Okay? There's no way I will accept Attorney Nunez. I will protect you. Do you know what I mean? I cannot do that. But in every reality, there is a danger. You also even sensed it. That night when I said I want to go back to the place, you start to feel very nervous. Your heart was aching. And if I really did, you probably the whole night cannot fall asleep. Is that true? Yeah. I know you are kind. I know you truly care about me. I was looking at you. You truly care about me. Okay? So you say, okay, what can I do? I said, sign the lease, correct? Only after sign the lease, I pay the rent. I feel that this is a legal setting. I will be comfortable here. That's why we did that. Okay, all right. So for this, I just want to explain to you what is really going on. Maybe pause a little bit and then start another one because it's getting long.